Hello everybody and welcome back to episode number 18 of the Moon Boy podcast. My name is Donovan Jolly and I'm here with Dallin Anderson at High Altitude Investing. Make sure that you guys shout out and look for all of our content down below. Links are in the description. This is a podcast that we put on once every single week. We record the episode on Thursday, we record the episode on Saturday, and then we upload it on Sunday. So you guys can expect good content from me and Dallin. You guys can make sure to check out all of us. We're also on Spotify. We're also on Google Music and iTunes or Apple.
Let's restart. Let's do one more restart.
Okay. Hello everybody and welcome to episode number 18 of the Moon Boy podcast. My name is Donovan Jolly and I'm here with my friend Dallin Anderson at High Altitude Investing. So shout out to all you guys that are supporting this channel. Make sure that you guys check out in the description of this video, check out Dallin's channel, check out my channel. We also have our Discord servers. This podcast is also on all platforms so that you guys can download this if you don't want to actually watch on YouTube. If you'd rather just listen to the podcast, you guys can always check us out. All the links are in the description for further reference. But yeah, this is a podcast that we put on every single week. We record this on Saturday and then we upload on Sunday. Just a way that we can talk about crypto, analyze the markets from a different perspective so that we can really just show and explain kind of how we're going about in trading and investing in this market. So with that being said, you know, Dallin, everything that's going on right now in crypto is just really exciting. It's got me feeling all of this energy. We're seeing the market starting to reflect kind of that really demand that we've been waiting to see for a long time. What do you think is the most exciting thing heading into the next 3 months with crypto?
First of all, before I answer that question, you need to be honest with me. Have you been buying more Chainlink? Because you have a little bit of an extra smile on your face right now that seems to be a Chainlink smile.
Yes, I am a Link Marine, down and with the project. I really have been buying a decent amount of Chainlink. The last month specifically, but the last couple months, I started looking into it a little bit more. Back at the New Year's when I started hearing about it when it pumped. I mean, what's interesting about Chainlink is the fact that it started all season, and it was really Engine Coin and Chainlink. Those were the first two to pump with Bitcoin. And Chainlink's, unlike Engine Coin, Chainlink has maintained that uptrend. It really didn't correct very big compared to the other ones. And so because I saw that, I saw a lot of strength, I figured, you know what, this reminds me of Ethereum. It's not like I have to throw a ton of risk down with this asset, but at the same time, I feel like you're not risking as much when you're investing in the top performer. Sure, it's hard to say, you know, the percent return I'll get, but when I'm holding long term and I see strength coming in a market, it just makes more sense to me to just, you know, invest a little bit more into that and just follow that same trend. So I have been buying.
Going along with what you said about Engine Coin, Engine Coin just looks exactly like Chainlink. It just hasn't made the first sell-off yet.
Right.
So Chainlink like broke up above its accumulation pattern and then did its first sell-off, and then is getting ready to do its actual parabolic run. And Engine Coin to me just looks like the same thing. It's just following a little bit behind Chainlink.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly, bro, for me, to answer your question before I let you go and say what you're going to say, the most important thing, the most exciting thing that I expect the next 3 months is all season. Yeah, it's all season, bro. Like seriously, these coins are leading the market, and to have these coins leading the market and to see the opportunity that we're seeing in the other ones that are looking identical to the leaders, they're just shortly behind. It just makes me happy that we have bags in these markets right now that are helping other people get bags as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think right now is an exciting time because, I mean, really with everything that we're seeing, it looks just like the same charts for the most part. Obviously there's differences, but market cycles look very similar as when we first got into crypto back in when we first started really heavily investing 2016, 2017, and to see kind of how all this is transpiring, I think that we're going to have a little mini alt season really soon, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. See some altcoins actually start to pop off. Some of them will probably start impulsing pretty quick, like, you know, Tezos, like Chainlink, those ones that have already been leading the market. But I think in this next one, I would love to see XRP go up finally. I know out of all of my long-term investments, the only one that I'm at a loss in right now is XRP. It's the only high cap that I've consistently invested in that is at somewhat of a loss. And it's not much. It's at 20 cents. My average entry is like 24 cents. So it's not really insane. But that is the only laggard that I have in my portfolio. Chainlink, Tezos, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I'm in profit on all of those positions. It's really just the laggard in XRP. So I would like to see XRP start to take off. I've got a decent amount at this point. So been shilling it for so long that, you know, it would be really nice to see it actually start to pump for once.
You feel like that patience is going to pay off, though.
Yeah.
Same.
When it comes to fundamentals, I don't see another cryptocurrency. Well, I wouldn't say I don't see another cryptocurrency, but as far as fundamentals go, there isn't a cryptocurrency with nearly the same amount of partnerships that's outside of the top 10. And with XRP, it's been in the top 3 since forever. I think that betting against that track record is just kind of just risky, in my opinion. I'd rather just...
It's like trying to short Bitcoin at 3K.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, basically XRP almost looks like Bitcoin at 3K.
Mm-hmm.
The structure is just following behind, just like how Engine is following behind Link, XRP is following behind Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting about XRP is it's going to do the same cycle that Bitcoin did from like $200 up to 20K. But when XRP does this cycle, the percentage gains are going to be bigger because of the fact that XRP is worth pennies right now, 20 cents, so you can literally go grab a quarter and get yourself an XRP token. Right? It's still worth
20 cents.
20 cents right now?
Yeah,
so less than a quarter for an XRP. 2 dimes, you used to be able to spend a dime to go get yourself a gumball, but now you can spend 2 dimes and get yourself an XRP token.
Yeah,
so
$589. No, I that's the thing is, for real, with XRP, the reason why I've liked it so much is, you look at the percent return from where we're at now to the all-time highs, and you look at Ethereum, 7x, 6x approximately. You look at Bitcoin, 2x, maybe 1x at this point. Then you look at some of the other ones, and it's not nearly as high. That's a lot. Don't get me wrong. 6x, I'm not complaining about that. But with XRP, 20 cents, $3.80, that's like 16x. That's over 16x just to the all-time high. And so for me, with it having the track record that it does, I have enough faith that I'm going to continue to invest in it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and that's whatever. But the thing is, because I've diversified into other assets, if I'm wrong about XRP, I'm right about 4 others, and so it doesn't even matter at that point.
So, Bitcoin dominance. This kind of goes along with all season. Bitcoin dominance we had been talking about it going for another leg up, and altcoin dominance going for another leg down. And it kind of wicked. It just kind of went shot down and got bought, which we talked about how it would probably be like that. So do you think that this is the absolute bottom? I mean, I guess we can't know for sure, but just out of curiosity, and we're not trying to call bottoms, but just from a speculatory perspective, you think this could be the absolute as far as altcoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance goes? Yeah,
I mean, the rejection that we saw was really nasty. Big bearish engulfing candle with a giant wick on top. For
Bitcoin dominance.
Yeah, that's exactly what you would want to see is, weakness showing. We're seeing a lot of strength inside of the altcoins. I personally bought Chainlink because, it's been riding on this big long-term parabolic trend since it's been around, and it was right at that trend line again, and I'm not going to try and fight that trend. I saw a lot of people. The reason actually why I felt confident in buying recently with this most recent dip, because I kind of was expecting we might get a little bit of a bigger one, but the reason why I actually just ended up thinking that this was kind of the end and this was just the short-term correction is because I made a YouTube video, and in the comments, it was the day that everything started dipping a couple days ago, and in the comments it was just very negative. It's very easy to tell when the
sentiment.
And it was very low. And so when I saw that, and then I also saw a bunch of people, instead of saying I was going to buy Chainlink, they said, oh, this looks toppy right here, when it was right perfectly at the trend line. I was like, okay, you know what? I could be wrong here, but I'm going to trust my gut here. I see what the sentiment is showing. I'm just going to launch into that. And, I think that with the Bitcoin, now that the altcoin Bitcoin pairs are actually in profit, I made money off of that trade. They're showing a lot of strength. I actually think that trend in Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to kind of climb down from here. And so to answer that question, yeah, I do believe that we are at that capitulation phase. Obviously, some of these altcoins can drop down a little bit lower. Back in 2017, we had a pretty cool example where, we had capitulation and altcoins literally dumped 40 to 60% overnight, but that dip was immediately bought up and then we pumped 100% on the opposite direction. And so with all this volatility, we could see something like that where even though the Bitcoin dominance looks like it's topping out, maybe we could get a little bit more volatility where we see just short-term stabs down to lower support levels. But overall, with what we're seeing in alts, I'm seeing way more strength than I am looking for more downside. And for me, I've kind of just been already averaging into my positions, and they might go down a little bit lower, but my focus is the long term anyways, and so it's not really that important to me. What I'm focused on And I get the big reason for Bitcoin dominance, but really what I'm focused on is the fact that if I hold Bitcoin goes from 10,000 to 100,000, that's a 10x return. But if I just buy XRP and hold to the all-time high, that's 16x return. And so I'm going to make more money with altcoins. I still always recommend holding majority of your, my biggest positions in Bitcoin. I wouldn't say my strategy itself isn't majority in Bitcoin, but my biggest position itself is Bitcoin. So for me, I think the bottom's in for the most part. We might see a little bit more downside. I don't care about that downside as much, and I do believe that we're going to start seeing some nice returns in altcoins coming soon.
And so with that downside, you're just talking about altcoin, Bitcoin dominance. Mm-hmm. So you're saying that there is a potential for one more wick down in Bitcoin dominance. I kind of think the big pairs, the big strong coins, especially the ones that have already been trending up, like Link, like Tezos, right, those ones have clearly been in a bottom for a long time now. There's always going to be coins that are lagging behind, just like how XRP hasn't done what Bitcoin did in 2018, and
right,
yeah, Litecoin has done that already, where it's done its breakout and its retrace. XRP is still lagging significantly behind, so some of these coins, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad investment, you guys. That could just mean that it's well, what it does mean is that it's going to do what the other ones already have, so it's actually just a good way to peer into the future of what's coming because they do follow each other. So I think the majority of the altcoin BTC pairs are probably in a bottom. Obviously, laddering is what the best option to do is, so we're not necessarily calling a bottom, it's just from our observations, that's what we could be at right now.
Exactly. And if you look at the charts, RSIs are showing extreme seller exhaustion. We've had bullish divergence on a ton of different altcoins for months now at this point. It's showing that there's going to be a reversal soon. And when I see the signs of a reversal, I don't give a crap about trying to pick the bottom. It doesn't matter to me. It's just like you said, laddering into those positions, taking the positions, because when it does pump, it happens so fast that if you weren't the person that was just laddering in, you're going to be stuck FOMOing in when the market actually goes up. And so I think that was really important. What do you think is like a sound strategy to go about investing into altcoins right now? With, there is a lot of volatility. It looks and appears like Bitcoin dominance is showing exhaustion right now. If you had, say, like $1,000, which altcoins do you think you would target? And then kind of what way do you think that you'd go about investing in those? Would it just be kind of all at once? Would you look to kind of structure a different time for laddering in, or what's your thoughts on that?
If I was new to the market and I just barely had a fresh $1,000, maybe a stimulus check, maybe unemployment money, a lot of people are filing for unemployment right now, what I would do is I would put 40% in Bitcoin, 40% in altcoins, 20% in the dollar, and the 40% altcoin holdings would look something along the lines of like Tezos, Link, and a few others. I don't really want to get into the exact details because of the nature of both of our VIPs.
Right.
But I will say that, top performing coins, a lot of the coins that we talk about on our channels, those are all great ones to be putting in, but keeping that Bitcoin helps with the stability. Keeping US dollar allows you to buy all panic days. And then when it breaks out of the resistance, after it panics, you can get 20% dollar again, and you just made money off every single dip, and you're just growing your portfolio and growing your bags every single time the market is panicking. So that's the way that I would personally play it, and I wouldn't worry about day trading, I wouldn't worry about short time frames. I'd focus on like monthly cycles and yearly cycles, because anything else is just going to confuse you, just make you mad. You're going to lose money, you're going to get too over leveraged, you're going to try to go all in because you want to make it fast. That get rich mentality will leave you broken and broke and feeling worthless. So don't think get rich quick. You can't, this is a get rich quick opportunity. But quick is like 2 years, 1 and 2 years. That's fast as hell. You're not going to be able to make $1 million off $1,000 anywhere else except for cryptocurrency in that period of time. So if you're the person that's getting so greedy that you're like, oh, well, I need to put all of my money into 100x or 50x positions in these tiny short time frames because you want to get rich tomorrow or next week, get the hell out of here. We literally do not want. Well, actually, just keep doing it, because we can buy your dips on BitMEX, and we can buy your dips on Binance, and we can buy your dips with low leverage, and we can buy your fear. So keep doing it if you're really going to gamble your life away. But honestly, big picture, there's an opportunity to make a stupid amount of money with minimal risk, with minimal investing knowledge, with minimal work, with minimal effort, literally just buying, setting, forgetting on top cryptos.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing. People, they hear all these stories.
Fire it up, Donovan.
Yeah, I can tell. Careful, I won't break the table in half. I can honestly see that happening a lot. People like see all these stories and they hear about these people that made millions of dollars investing in ICOs or whatever it might be, and then all they end up doing is, trying to go full leverage or something. I saw that in my Discord pretty soon after I made it. I had new people sign into my VIP and then message me, hey, how can I take out this margin position? I want to go $5,000 on this at 5x. And I was like, no, don't do that at all. That's just dumb. You're going to lose your money. Just buy these coins, hold these coins for this period of time. And if you want to learn how to trade, take $100, take a very small amount of money, and then focus on setting stop losses, having a plan. And that's really the only way if you're going to be trading margin, is you have to have a sound plan. But people are really just so ready to get rich quick. They think that they see all of these stories and they're so ready to just make all this money that they make dumb mistakes like that. Or they'll go all in, and even if they're not using leverage, I saw this happen in, right before the crash in March. People were buying, and then the second it crashed, they freaked out because they had way too much money invested into those positions, and they panic sold. And now the market's clear up in profit, and they're stuck waiting on the sidelines, sitting there, oh, well, it'll go back down again, and it probably won't ever do that. And at least, it's not going to go down enough to where they're going to probably get filled and end up rebuying, because it's just the way the emotional psychology.
Their original entries.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is if it did start going down to those original entries, they'd be shooting for lower, and then they wouldn't get filled if it ended up going down there. And so it really is an emotional game. People are going to get wrecked if you don't learn how to fine-tune a plan and just stick to that plan. And at the end of the day, everybody overcomplicates it. Literally all you guys need to do is just buy and hold. If you're just somebody that doesn't know how to trade, you've never really invested, all of the apps are right on your phone. They're easy to use. It walks you through all of the setup on how to buy and how to sell all of your crypto. And then from that point, you guys can take that and just hold long term. And regardless, I've seen people, I was talking to one of my buddies last night on the phone, Mind's Eye, and I was talking to him about a guy in my Discord had a friend. He invested in an ICO, turned $1,000 into $1 million. And it was actually over $1 million, and he never took profits, and he just held all the way down, and it went way below his ICO price, and he's probably got less than $100 now because it was just down so much. And that's the thing is, it doesn't take very much money to make a lot, but you guys got to make sure that you're taking those profits when the time comes. If you've made a bunch of money, you see your account go up, why not just sell some of that, hold it into either a stable coin, hold it into your bank, something like that, because then you're at least guaranteeing that you have profit. And then with that profit, you see a 20-30% down day, you can throw some of that, and even if it's a small amount of your profit, you can throw a couple grand into that stuff, and then the second the market rebounds, you're already in all of that profit. You've made back all of your initial entry, and it's just way more sound strategy to just hold long term. Maybe it's a year plan. At the end of the year, you take profits, or maybe it's at the end of 2 years, you take profits. I've personally found that I've missed out on way more opportunity by not holding, by trying to just trade through all of the volatility. And that's what really set me back in the last cycle, where I could have made way more money.
So one thing I want to add to that, though, and to remind people, is it's easy to be so burned from the bear market to hear take profits, and then to want to take them way too early. And so, when Donovan tells this story, I want you guys to remember that, that scenario where we get 90% retraces, 80% retraces, 70% retraces, that could be, 2 years away. Yeah. It might be longer even, but it's... We're not saying that this is going to happen next week, next month. We're talking about, far into the future. So, when you remember that, that way you... Because the balance is being in the right point in the cycle, and everybody, the reason that 90% of the people lose money and 10% profit is because their psychology is completely in the backward spot that it should be at the wrong point in the cycle. Right now, your psychology should be buy every single dip, put everything you possibly can into it that you're willing to lose, and be thinking just how do I get as much money into crypto? How do I create a crypto business? How do I become an employee to one of my favorite projects if you want to be an employee to your favorite coin? How do I become a developer for an Ethereum game, CryptoKitties, or like right now it's just like invest yourself all the way into the markets. And then enjoy yourself, take some profits, go on a beach somewhere with a margarita when Bitcoin is at 100,000, 150,000, 200K and you've got $1 million in your bank.
Yep. Exactly.
So if you have your psychology the opposite way of what everybody else is thinking, you will be the person that's rich.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of all of it. And that's literally what makes you rich. It almost doesn't matter how much you start with. It doesn't matter how much you make. Literally the only thing that matters is your psychology at whatever point there is in the market. If the market is in depression and you feel euphoria, you're going to be rich for the rest of your entire life. If the market is in euphoria and you feel depression, or you feel like, wow, I have everything I could ever want, now what do I do? Then, you've probably got your mindset and psychology correct. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be depressed when you have all that money. It can happen, though, so be careful. Plan for it now. Money does not equal sadness. That's a myth. It can if you don't know how to use it, if you've got shitty belief systems around it, but that's a myth. So basically what I'm saying is at the top of the market, be fearful of the psychology of others, not even of your own self. And at the bottom of the market, be greedy in the sense and be aware of everybody else's fear and buy that up. And it seems so simple and everybody's like, well, how do I apply that? And blah, blah, blah. Focus on the big picture and then you can apply it.
Yeah, honestly, my entire channel is focused around the big picture, and I try and tell people that if you look at any of the last cycles in Bitcoin, had you have just bought at any point in that bear market, and even the initial way up to the all-time highs, if you would have bought at any point in there, the majority of the bull run starts after all-time high, and that's where the most amount of money is made, and that's where the biggest opportunity lies, is actually investing at the tail end when there is no guarantee that the bull run's going to start. Everybody's really fearful. Everybody's in disbelief about it. Everybody's showing way downside targets, showing a giant correction of sub-$1,000 levels.
$200 Bitcoin
yeah, seriously.
incoming.
It's really crazy how the emotional psychology works, and it even is the same way amongst top traders in the world today. They're still getting fooled by all this stuff. And for me, I believe in the technology around crypto. I believe that it has a significant use case in society, and the charts themselves actually line up perfectly to that overlying belief that I have around crypto. And so because I've looked at the psychology of market cycles, because I've seen how it's played out in times past, just by me investing into the bear market and the dips is the smartest thing that you could have ever done. And I've been telling my channel since 2019. I said that the bottom was in 2019. I made a video comparing the Bitcoin fractal and the gold fractal, and I said that the bottom was in, and every dip from that point was for buying. And a lot of people swayed from that, and then they got really shaken out, especially with all of this pandemic that went down. But nonetheless, had you have bought any of that fear, had you have bought any of these big sell-offs inside of Bitcoin during this correction, you would be fine right now. You would have been set. You would have had a solid entry. For me, my long-term bids, I'm pretty sure my long-term entry in Bitcoin is, for my spot orders, was about 72.50. And so that's about kind of the average of that 6K support. It's a little bit higher. But for me, it wasn't the exact bottom. It wasn't the exact top. It was somewhere in the middle. And I'm fine with that, honestly. And that's kind of the way I think that everybody should shoot. It's not really trying to buy every bottom, it's trying to sell every top. It's just having a plan and then averaging into those positions. Because then you see a dip, you see a big fearful day. Every single time up to this point, I've just bought when the market's down 20, 30%. The next day, everything's up, 20% on the upside. And so it's like no matter what, I'm always able to hedge myself. And it's just a matter of having a plan and then sticking to that plan. The bear markets are gnarly, but at the same time, that's where all of the wealth is actually made.
And I'll add to that the bear markets are gnarly, but the bull markets are more gnarly.
And it's way worse to miss out on that too.
Expansion is bigger than contraction, because expansion literally means that it's growing, and contraction literally means that it's shrinking. And if you're in a big picture uptrend, overall you expand more than you contract. And so even that's why the big picture is so important, is because every every single contraction period is an opportunity, no matter how big, because it's leading into the greater expansion of the entire market. And that applies to everything. That applies to stock, that applies to gold, silver, cryptocurrency. It doesn't matter. And so the expansion phases are way, way, way more important than the contraction phases. And, you know, if you got burnt in the bear market, who cares, bro? We all got burnt.
Yeah.
It was crazy as hell. It was literally like, man, I'm surprised we made it out alive. It was
when you see
more.
your investment go from this much to halving again, to halving again, to halving again, and then you're thinking, okay, I can't do it anymore. Then it halves 5 more times, and you're like, okay, there goes all my money. And then you just have to kind of like deal with that. And that's, you know, it was a great lesson nonetheless. I am so thankful that I got to go through that bear market. I'm so grateful that I kept a bullish trading plan and then got wrecked a few times and had to learn what didn't work for me. Because
the big picture was what you were bullish on anyway.
Exactly. And at that point, you know, getting chopped up by the market sucked in the moment, and it is a good way to get frustrated with yourself. But at the end of the day, I learned how to trade a bear market. I learned exactly what I need to do with my trading plan when the market adjusts, how I can change that, how I can ask myself different questions on how to find the answers that I'm looking for to profit. And all in all, like, it was just a great preparation for, like you said, the expansion that we're going to see on the way up. And I'm looking forward to that. That's the most exciting part.
You basically just have to tell yourself, are you going to let this completely traumatize you so that you are just blinded by everything now and no longer can make any opportunity in any market because you got burned this one time on your investments? Mm-hmm. Or are you going to take this and you're going to learn from this and then figure out how to make money in every market because all of a sudden you see this as a massive opportunity for learning? So it's really just whatever paradigm you want to learn or take the bear market with. Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm choosing the paradigm of this is just a giant learning experience for me to be able to make money in all markets even better in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree, 100%. It's such an amazing experience being in cryptocurrency, not only for the people I've met, not only for the community that I have, but just being able to invest into these markets, being able to find investments that I personally resonate with, thinking that there's a huge opportunity here, being able to share that back with everybody around me. It's always just really fun because at the end of the day, you know, I've made money, been able to create this community, but the knowledge that I've gained since being here was the most important part because now, you know, aside from cryptocurrency, I can take this knowledge and I can go do anything I want with it. I can go and invest in any other type of market. You know, because I now know how to run a business through just being in this community, I can go and sell clothing if I wanted to. I can go do anything. And that's the most important thing is through cryptocurrency investing, I was able to learn enough knowledge that going into it, I had no idea I was even going to gain and had no expectation of gaining any of it. And now that I have it, it's like, okay, well, if cryptocurrency fails or if I move on to something else, I now have this knowledge that lasts forever that I can go about and just, you know, work on anything. And it's kind of what you brought up. You know, now's the time where you want to invest in yourself. You want to, if you want to be a blockchain programmer and developer, you know, start learning how to do that, start taking courses. There's a lot of really amazing people inside of cryptocurrency right now. And because it's so small, and just anybody, you don't even have to have thousands of followers or anything. Nobody can even know who you are, and you still have the opportunity to connect with some of these bigger people inside of the space. Like CZ Binance, and really Binance, what they're doing, they're going to be so huge, and I don't think people realize it. They're already so big. They're the global power structure for exchanges in crypto right now. And you can get on Twitter and you can literally talk to these people and you can, you know, ask questions. Maybe if it's not CZ, maybe it's just some really good trader that you follow on Twitter. You can reach out to these people, you can ask them questions, and they're more than willing to just send you information. I've experienced that first on. I'm more than happy to share information to people that genuinely show an interest towards it. I don't have a problem, you know, spending a little bit of time answering questions, even though it's, you know, because at the end of the day, the more that I can help somebody else out in the space, the more that person's going to take that knowledge and make something of themselves. And who knows, maybe when they figure it out, they can start doing the same thing. And it's just a chain of events. And so by investing into yourself, you're not only investing into yourself, but you're also investing into everything around you. The people that you're close with, you know, your friends, family, everything like that is all going to be benefited by this. And with cryptocurrency, I see this as just an amazing opportunity it's like a lot of people, a lot of boomers, my grandpa would always tell me this, for example, they'd always say, go to the military, you'll be able to learn a good trade, you'll be able to do this and that, and then you'll always have a job. And I foresee the same thing with cryptocurrency right now. Invest into yourself right now. Figure out what way you'd like to go profiting inside of this market, whether it's investing, whether it's development side of things, whatever it might be. Invest in yourself, jump into that, because it's really kind of one and the same, except there's more opportunity here than ever before. Because of how early on this is, we can really just dive into any communities. We can be at the ground floor with this stuff. We can make life-changing wealth investing, but we can also learn how to actually build our own solutions and create our own value in this world, which, in my opinion, is the most important thing.
The people that built internet businesses have anything they want. They literally have maximum freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And Bitcoin is the next internet. Cryptocurrency is the next internet. It's the internet of things. So
better
building a business inside of cryptocurrency today, building yourself, investing in yourself inside of cryptocurrency today is hands down the absolute best thing that you can do. It's the best industry, it's the biggest, it's the most undervalued, it's going to grow the fastest. Everybody's like, oh, well, we should get into solar panels, solar technology, and windmills. Like yes, those things are growing, they're great, I think they're awesome, but literally I cannot think of an entire industry. There's not a single industry in the entire world I can think of that's like going in crypto.
No. Because that's the most amazing part. Cryptocurrency is going to be everything in society. Everything. All electronics, all technology, infrastructure, everything is all going to be, on the blockchain to some degree. Everything will rely on the blockchain, in my opinion, which is why no matter what you're trying to get into, if you're really big on solar panels or something like that, and that's the business you want to take, you could be, through blockchain, like all of this stuff is going to communicate to itself. We're going to develop software that can basically talk to itself and, report problems and things. And all of this stuff is going to be on the blockchain and on this database that we have. And so it's really going to create so much value. And that's the most amazing part for me, just that specific value that's going to be tapped into and brought to the surface. And so, what do you think is the most exciting part for blockchain technology? Where do you think the most value is going to come from over the next 3 years specifically? Do you think DeFi is going to be that sort of outlet, or do you think it might be something entirely different? Because I know a lot of people are really hyped about DeFi, so I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts about the next 3 to 5 years inside of blockchain tech, aside from cryptocurrency.
Well, what do you mean?
What do you think are going to be the parts in society that are most drastically affected? Where do you think the value is going to first come to society into blockchain? What is going to be that point? Is it DeFi, decentralized finance? Is it going to be something else? AI maybe?
Micropayments is the first thing. Specifically digital micropayments. I mean, even just going on Facebook and sending money to your friend, or like Cash App. Like, we have all these different ways to send money to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But there's massive fees, there's third parties that we have to trust.
Mm-hmm.
It can be hacked.
Right.
Your information can be shared and distributed, like your identification, your social security. All of these things can just be completely exploited. And so to be able to encrypt that type of information, to be able to handle micropayments without third parties, to be able to handle remittances, to be able to bring value to other countries that don't have fiat currencies or don't have access to banking. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of different things that are going to happen, but I think, honestly, the biggest thing is going to be smart contracts, micropayments, and payments in general, and identification and encryption.
DeFi.
And then that will move into bigger things like that. That will move into all databases being decentralized. That will move into all government files being decentralized. That will move into decentralization inside of government voting.
Everything.
That will move into it. It's just, we're like at the earliest seed of a decentralized world, and so it's going to start off with money, because money is the most fundamental survivalistic thing inside of humans. And so it starts with, the early forms of money, humans used to use seashells. We used to trade seashells as money. And so money is like one of the most basic fundamental things. And so I think that's honestly the biggest revolution at the start is the financial aspect of it. Mm-hmm. We already have Apple Pay, we already have these things, right. But they're just so third party, you have to trust this third party, they can be hacked. Mm-hmm. There's lots of flaws with it. And so for me, the money is just the most fundamental thing. And then as the world wakes up their finances, as we get more wealth and as there's less poverty, because poverty is not a virtue. As we get less poverty, then we'll be able to move into more creative aspects of that technology. Yeah. But it's going to start out very survivalistic and basic.
I think, I agree. DeFi is going to be the first thing, because all of what you explained is just going to be DeFi right off the bat. All of the financial sectors.
I don't even know what DeFi is.
I could tell. When I asked you, it just seemed like it went over your head and you just got this
crap is this
foggy
DeFi coin?
It just stands for, it's not a coin, it just stands for decentralized finance. So like what Ethereum is doing with smart contracts, how a lot of different infrastructure is going to be programmed and built on like the Ethereum blockchain. It's just basically all of the money, remittances, all of this type of stuff. That basically what you explained, everything that you explained is just DeFi. It's just one big like group of things. Because it's kind of confusing. You always hear people say DeFi, and at the end of the day, it's like, well, what the heck is that? And it's not really one thing. It's just a giant conglomerate. And so I agree with everything you said. DeFi is going to be the first thing, and then I think what follows right after that is data transfer. I think that those are going to be kind of one and the same. That's why I've actually really liked Chainlink so much, is because it is just data transfer. It's not even a blockchain or anything, but you have the blockchains, then you have the regular infrastructure in society. They can't communicate to each other, so you use a middleman, which is Chainlink, just share the data between sources. And so I think that you can't have DeFi without Chainlink, because they have to have the data transfer that goes through. Otherwise, we wouldn't know which information is accurate. We wouldn't have a good way of transferring it onto the blockchain in a completely decentralized way. And so I think that through data transfer and through DeFi, both of those things are kind of going to coexist, and both of those will be the first that we really see. So I agree with everything that you said. Really, blockchain is going to help a lot with remittances, just the money transfer, micropayments, and data transfer as well. Emails, all of this type of stuff that's really easily manipulated and can be hacked, can be tracked, all of these things.
Even spam is something that could be
hugely
eliminated, because everybody would have to have an identification to prove who they are.
Like a public and private key?
Yeah, a public and private key, so that you can't just spam, create 50,000 Gmail accounts, and then, some guy in Nigeria is over there scamming you over the phone. You want to join the Illuminati Brotherhood? Saying some... I watched this video of this guy, off topic, I watched this video of this guy from Nigeria that goes around on YouTube.
Xbox Live?
No, he goes around on YouTube and then finds people, or on like Reddit forums, and then finds people that want to like join the Illuminati, and then he like scams them into sending them like a Western Union like $2,500. I wasn't watching the guy that was doing it. I was watching a documentary about like people that do this in other countries. It was like Vice or some crap like that, and it was just so funny. Like, we can stop a lot of that stuff. Like, you could be able to identify a scam a lot easier, because we'll have real ways to create encrypted identities that are public, in the sense that it's a public ledger and everybody can go say, okay, this person really is this person. Like, this isn't just some fake email or somebody scamming you. And so scamming is another big thing that I think will be reduced a lot because of blockchain technology.
Which is really funny considering how prevalent scams are in crypto. I just barely it's ridiculous. I just had to add a bunch of new moderators inside of my channel, because I just had... Oh, speaking of which, if you guys are watching this, if you're ever in my Discord and anybody messages you asking or saying you want a giveaway, it's a scam. Just don't listen. But yeah, I had to hire...
with mine.
Yeah, seriously, because they're everywhere. Any giveaway in crypto, don't even... Unless it's 100% from my channel, I say it on YouTube, or you guys see it on
giveaway,
Twitter.
I've done a couple.
Exactly. We'll both do Twitter giveaways. So that's the thing. If you guys don't see it coming from our personal Twitter accounts or from YouTube itself, just don't listen, because that's a big issue right now. And we saw that in the bear market. Do you remember those Ethereum giveaway scams?
Oh, man.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
No. I meditate every day to remove those from my subconscious, and Donovan just brings them right back up.
It happens. We're gonna see him again though, so stay warmed. You guys probably didn't even remember him. Most of you guys probably didn't join until fairly recent, but some of you guys probably do. If you were on Twitter, every single influencer on Twitter, anything to do with crypto, no matter how big they were, every single comment, the first comment that you'd see under any one of their tweets was an impersonation of their profile saying that they want a giveaway. You click on the link. I almost got scammed from this. The first time that they showed up, I almost got scammed. Because basically what happened was, Poloniex makes a tweet, maintenance, blah, 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 your funds are safe, same crap. And then I click under the comments to see how many angry people were mad at Poloniex, and I see a link. Poloniex is doing a 5 Bitcoin giveaway. Click this link to enter. So I click the link. And then they have like your typical, like if you were to go shopping online and click a clothing store link, how they have the timer that counts down, oh, you have 24 hours before the sale ends, or like 10 minutes. They had one of those for the scam. And basically it had this meter that showed, like 600 Ethereum, and it showed the clock counting down how many were left. And there were so many people that were just sending Ethereum to these scammers, and they were getting completely ripped off. When I saw that, I knew it was a scam, and so I didn't do it, but we're going to start seeing that stuff again. I'm hoping this time around it's going to be easier combated, and I think that we'll have, hopefully there's some sort of...
Well, what it really is it's Discord and Twitter is the issue. It's not...
Right.
Blockchain is the solution to this, and this is why we need blockchain Discord, blockchain Twitters, and blockchain YouTubes, because then we can identify the person, make sure that they have to be authenticated, and then they can't just make fake accounts on IP addresses from another country and then go scam everybody and then disappear. So that's really where the issue is. And yeah, that happened a little bit in the past, and so yeah, just be very cautious, you guys. I've heard of people getting scammed through Discord messages, people direct messaging. So just, focus on talking to us or the moderators or people inside of public chat rooms instead of privately through the Discords, because it's dangerous. Yeah. People might manipulate you or scam you or...
Yeah, but...
So, yeah, that's pretty much everything I want to talk about today. Lots of exciting stuff coming to cryptocurrency, you guys. Make sure you check out the podcast on all of the different sources. Stitcher, links in the description for everything. Check out our VIP groups. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Get ready for the massive moves
alt season.
The alt season. I have been buying Chainlink too, by the way.
There you go.
Chainlink brothers today.
Link Marines.
We love you guys so much, and we look forward to seeing you in future podcasts. As always, stay profitable out there.